At the beginning of the movie, Vivi DeLay, a highly trained agent, is called into CIA headquarters to meet with the CIA director personally. During the meeting, the director explains an operation in place to catch illegal arms dealer Wolfgang Wolf, who is believed to be in a hotel in Belgrade looking to sell dirty bombs to terrorists. The director details that he has put a team of agents led by a senior and reliable agent, Ethan Renner, in Belgrade to intercept the deal and capture Wolf's lieutenant, the albino. The director explains further that while the team handles the albino, she should focus on eliminating the wolf. Vivi accepts the operation and gets to work. In Belgrade, Ethan and his men start the operation and track the albino to a hotel. Ethan intercepts the buyers and kills them all in one of the hotel rooms. Then, when the albino arrives at the hotel, one of Ethan's colleagues, disguised as a chambermaid, follows him to his room. However, the albino recognizes her and brutally murders her. Then, as the agents begin to respond, the albino bombs the entire floor of the hotel, causing mayhem. Amidst the chaos, Ethan, who was outside of the hotel during the explosion, sees the albino making an escape and follows him. Ethan chases the albino and corners him. However, he, all of a sudden, starts feeling dizzy and falls. He fights to stay conscious and shoots the albino in the leg, hoping to slow him down, but passes out soon after. The albino limps away and escapes before the police arrive. Ethan is taken to a hospital and diagnosed with a brain tumor that has metastasized to his lungs. He is given a couple months to live and told to put his affairs in order. Immediately after, a CIA representative visits him in the hospital to thank him for his service and to terminate his employment. After being discharged, Ethan returns to Paris, where he lives, and heads to his apartment, hoping to clear his mind and process everything. However, when he gets there, he is surprised to find a family of squatters living there. The patriarch, Jules, is friendly and introduces him to his pregnant daughter, Suya, and the rest of his large family. Jules then takes Ethan to a room where he moved all of Ethan's properties, swearing that they haven't touched any of his things. The confused Ethan storms out and heads to the police station to report the situation. But to his surprise, the police tell him that the law protects squatters and that he can't evict them in the winter. Ethan is extremely frustrated. He returns to his apartment and warns Jules to leave as soon as Suya gives birth, and in the meantime, gives him some ground rules so that they can cohabit in the apartment harmoniously. Later that night, Ethan retires to his room and watches old home videos of his now teenage daughter, Zoe, who lives with his ex-wife, Christian, after their divorce. The next day, Ethan reaches out to Christine and tells her about his diagnosis. Christine is shocked and sympathizes with Ethan, but agrees to let him spend time with Zoe only if he can assure her that he has left his dangerous life as an agent behind. Ethan promises that he has stopped once and for all, and Christine takes him to Zoe's school to reunite them. The meeting doesn't go as hoped, as Zoe points out that a lot has changed since he left when she was a child. So, Ethan doesn't know her, and she doesn't even know if she should address him as Dad, or by his passport name. Zoe introduces Ethan to her boyfriend, Hugh, and before she returns to her friends, Ethan promises to cook dinner for her and Christine, and asks her to be home on time. Ethan then goes to the market to buy some ingredients for the dinner. There, he is met by Vivi, who offers to hire him to kill Wolf, as she believes he is the only one who can identify him, in exchange for an experimental drug to treat his illness and give him more valuable time with his family. Ethan is tempted by the offer, as he wants to spend more time with his family, be a better father, and right all the wrongs he has done. Ethan accepts the offer, and Vivi puts him to work immediately. She takes him to a hotel where a man that works with the albino's Italian accountant, Guido, is known to be at, and asks Ethan to kill him. Ethan enters the hotel and professionally tricks the man's guards. He then enters the man's room and successfully eliminates him and his associates. Vivi joins him and approves of his actions. Ethan then negotiates with Vivi to pay him a large sum of money and to give him $1 million worth of life insurance on the completion of his mission so that his family could be financially well off. Vivi agrees and gives him the first shot of the experimental drug. Vivi then drives Ethan to Christine's place, where Christine scolds him for being late after promising to cook dinner. Ethan lies and informs Christine that he has found a doctor willing to give him an experimental drug and offers to look after Zoe when Christine takes a work trip out of town for a few days. Later that night, as Ethan sleeps on Christine's couch, he starts hallucinating because of the experimental drug he took. He panickedly calls Vivi, who tells him to drink some alcohol to minimize the hallucination effect of the drug. Ethan takes a shot of vodka and feels better. He then researches the drug and finds out that it acts as a hallucinogen whenever his heart rate goes up. The next day, Christine leaves on her work trip, and Ethan stays at Christine's place to look after her. Vivi comes to see him in the morning and takes him to see a friend of Guido, who provides the albino's crew with luxury transport services, named Mithat Almiraz. Ethan enters Mithat's office, incapacitates Mithat's employees, and kidnaps Mithat to his apartment. There, as he starts to torture him for information, he is interrupted by a call from Zoe's school principal, who asks him to come to school and discuss Zoe's behavior. Ethan ties Mithat, puts him in his car trunk, and takes him to school. There, the school principal reports that Zoe has been caught hitting someone in the face, but Ethan stands up for his daughter. As they leave the school, Zoe tells Ethan that she is defending her new friend from bullies and freaks out on him for being absent from her life for the last 5 years and not understanding her. Then, she leaves to take the train while he waits for her in the car. Then, while Ethan tortures Mithat for Guido's information, he gets a call from Zoe, who apologizes for the way she treated him and asks to hang out with him at their favorite place in the local amusement park later that day. Ethan manages to get information on Guido's location from Mithat and follows the accountant to a hotel. Then, when he gets a few feet away from his target, Zoe calls and tells him that she is waiting for him. Ethan aborts his mission and rushes to Zoe. In the amusement park, Zoe and Ethan play games and have a wonderful time. They then go to have a hot chocolate like they used to when Zoe was a kid and reminisce about the old times. Zoe then tries to lie to Ethan and tells him that she and her friend Karina will be working on their science project all night at Karina's house and excuses herself to go there. Ethan calls Christine and leaves a message updating her on what's been going on. Later, Ethan receives a message from Christine that details that Zoe doesn't have a friend named Karina. Ethan panics, goes to Zoe's room to find clues as to what she could be doing, and learns about a popular party spot. Ethan rushes to the party and finds Zoe in the bathroom, surrounded by men who are trying to take advantage of her. Ethan beats all of the men and carries Zoe out. The next morning, Ethan and Zoe fight, and Ethan bans her from taking the train to school and orders her to ride the bike he has gotten her. Zoe lashes out, screaming she doesn't know how to ride a bike because he was never around to teach her, and leaves. A few days later, Ethan and Zoe take to the park and teach her how to ride a bike, during which the two spend some quality time and reach an understanding. Then, Ethan gets an updated information on Guido's whereabouts. He follows him, attacks and incapacitates his men, and kidnaps Guido to his apartment. There, he ties him up in his bathroom and scares him into giving up the albino's confidential bank information. Ethan then goes to see and report to Vivi and takes a second shot at the experimental drug. Ethan returns to his apartment later that evening and finds Suia giving birth. Then, to Ethan's dismay, Jules informs him that now that Suia has given birth, they will be moving out. Ethan tries to get them to stay, but Jules insists on honoring his word by leaving, and Suia has named her newborn daughter Ethan to honor his generosity. Later that evening, Zoe tells Ethan that Hugh asks her out to prom. She then invites Ethan to her pre-party, held at Hugh's parents' rooftop the next night. Zoe then freaks out, saying she doesn't know how to dance. Ethan puts on Christine's favorite song and teaches Zoe how to dance. Christine returns from her trip and is happy to walk into her apartment and see Ethan and Zoe dancing. The family has dinner together, and Christine and Ethan stay up late talking. They share nostalgic memories and get intimate. The next morning, while Ethan's still in bed with Christine, Vivi calls him and informs him of the hotel the albino's staying in. Ethan rushes to the hotel and monitors the albino's movements. He then recognizes the albino's colleague from the first operation and realizes that he is the wolf. Ethan chases the target's car and after some distance crushes into it and causes it to go over a bridge. The wolf and the albino get out of the car and Ethan chases them, but after some moments he starts getting dizzy and weak. The albino overpowers Ethan and drags him to the train tracks to brutally murder him. But Ethan uses all of his might to throw the albino onto the tracks and kill him before he passes out. Vivi comes and gets Ethan, and when he comes a few hours later, she tells him that he got his laboratory results and the drug seems to be having a positive effect on him. Ethan then runs to Christine's apartment to prepare and go to Hugh's parents' party with his family. The Renners attend the party and are introduced to Hugh's parents and Hugh's father's partner, who happens to be the wolf. Ethan and the wolf recognize one another, but pretend to be meeting for the first time. During the party, the wolf orders his men to attack Ethan. They start shooting and causing chaos. Ethan kills the wolf's men and defends himself as well. Then, he traps the wolf in an elevator, shoots the cables, and sends it to free fall. Ethan then runs downstairs and finds the injured criminal crawling out of the banged-up elevator. He proceeds to shoot him, but starts hallucinating and falls to the ground. Vivi comes, wakes Ethan up, and orders him to kill the wolf. Ethan refuses to, saying his wife wants him to quit. Vivian shoots and kills the wolf. A few months later, Zoe and Ethan spend a week at their beach house. Christine joins them on Christmas, and the Renners spend the holiday together, and Ethan is happy to finally hear Zoe call him Dad. The movie concludes as Ethan finds a Christmas present with a shot of the experimental drug inside and unwraps it happily as Vivi watches from afar. The end. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.